Hello, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this video. This is the card we're making today. Isn't it cute? It uses some new products, some new dies that I've got. Hope you like it. It's a really nice seascape, I think, of the waves crashing against the lighthouse. So let me show you how I did it. Let's put this in a safe place over there. First stamp set I'm going to use is this one. This is an old one called Sailing Home, and we're going to use the lighthouse here. And I'm going to be stamping in basic grey, and I've got everything set up in my Stamparatus to make life hopefully a little bit easier. And then I'm just going to press down, hope for the best. Yay, lovely jubbly. Now I'm going to give my little stamp a little clean with my simple chamois so that we can do the next bit of stamping. I love this thing, it's really so useful, just so makes cleanup so easy. So let's put Stampy away. I always put everything away as I go along, and that way nothing goes missing or gets lost. Most of the time, I'd say. This is a new set to me, Waves of Inspiration, and we're going to use this little sentiment, Happy Birthday. And as you can see, you can stamp the waves and you've got this lovely stalk and all sorts of stuff here. So we're just going to use this little sentiment that says Happy Birthday, and I haven't put the stickers on it yet because I've just been lazy. But I'm going to put it there. It doesn't really matter if it's not the right way up or anything, we're going to cut it out anyway. So pick it up with our lid, and then going to stamp again in basic grey, down, hope for the best. Yay! Close this up as we're finished with that ink pad now, and then as before, clean up time. There we go, that'll do. Put that away. Stick this back in here. I need to actually properly sort that set out, but I only got it a few days ago, so I haven't had a chance to do it yet, and I did want to play with it. Okay, so now we're going to do some die cutting, and this set for the thingamajiggy, the lighthouse, has its die, so let's get that one out there. And this is the smooth sailing dies. Put that there, and then I'm just actually, before I do that, I'm going to cut out my sentiment, I think, so it doesn't get damaged in any way whatsoever. And to do that, I'm just going to use my trimmer, a handy dandy trimmer that I absolutely adore and love. I'm going to cut out quite close to the sentiment. And let's see. Like that. And like that. That'll do for now. Okay, get rid of the trimmer. Everything's crashing and falling apart here. Now we're going to do our die cutting, so we're just going to take this, line up our die. As you can see, it's really easy to line up, just like that, and I just hold it with a piece of post-it note tape, and that does the trick. And then I've got here some Balmy Blue and some Pacific Point, and we've got some new dies as well to go with that new stamp set, and these are the Waves dies, very aptly named. And you've got these two gorgeous waves, and I'm just going to put these to the die cutting machine, everything, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've cut everything out, as you can see. There are two waves. Get rid of these extra bits that have just fallen out. Cuts beautifully, and there's our lighthouse. So I'm going to set all of this aside for a second. I'm going to bring in a piece of basic white, and all I'm going to do initially is just make sure I measure, because this doesn't fit the whole length of my card. and depending on how I've cut things, I prefer just to measure and then take a pencil and just make a little mark. I'll just make sure I measured accurately. A little mark where the die ends, and then I'm going to cut it down to size. That's my trimmer, so it's going to be somewhere around there. So I can see that that's about 13.4 or something. So I'm going to cut this down, I think, to 13.4 by 9 centimeters to give me my panel. So that's 13.4 by 9. Just decided that now. Okay. Now I'm going to bring in some ink, and this is the Whoopsie Daisy. This, what's wrong with me today? This is the Balmy Blue ink, and we're just going to do some what you call it, blending. Now I don't want this to look perfect because I want it to look a bit choppy like the sea. So I'm just going to sort of measure where my waves are going to go. And I know I want to go roughly to about there. So I want to be higher on this side. As I said, I'm not looking for the perfect blend because I'm just trying to emulate the sea, which is naturally quite choppy in different colours. So let's see how this looks now. Yeah, check with both pieces. They don't all go the same height. Yeah, that'll do. So that's my background. Now my, what you call this thing, lighthouse. I'm just going to add some blue to the bottom here where the waves will be coming up against the rocks. And it's just going to help blend everything into the scene like that. Okay, so close that up and put aside our blending brushes. Now I'm just going to get out a very small block, if I can find one. Where's it gone? Here we go, a very small block. Sorry about the squeakies. And then I am going to bring in from this set. There's a little birdie somewhere. Here it is. Here's our birdie. And my ink pad is quite juicy, so I'm going to try and be quite light with it. And it doesn't matter if you cover up some of this later on, because birds don't fly, you know, they fly behind things, in front of things, all over the place. So I'm just adding some birds to the background. Enough as good as a feast. Okay, so that's how our background's looking at the moment. Now I'm just going to do a little bit of colouring to my lighthouse here, and I'll see which colours I use this time compared to what I used last time. This is, I'll tell you as I go along, this is Smoky Slate. I don't think I'll use much of this, so I don't want a lot of colour. Just highlighting extra bits here. I think that's enough Smoky Slate. And then I think I'm going to go in with a little bit here of Sahara sand, just to add sort of light. My marker's is fading out, which actually is useful in this circumstance because it's not too juicy. I'm just giving some very light definition, and then I'm going to have some, whatever this is, crushed curry, I think. No, bumblebee, I should say. I'm just going to add a little bit of light like that. And that I think will be it. But you could use like the red for the lighthouse, you could do what you want. I've changed my mind a few times since I've made the card, but that's what we're going for today. So let's start assembling. This is our card base, and then we've got here a piece of Pacific Point Designer Series paper, and we're going to put this down. On our card base, just like that. Okay, and now we're going to start putting the other bits, but I'm going to put this piece down first. Easier this way. Put this in the middle somewhere, like that. And then we're going to start to layer up our our waves like that. So I'm going to put this one down first. I'm just going to use a little bit of Tombow, not a lot at all. So be very light-handed with your Tombow. You really don't want much at all. Less is more, as they say. Just putting tiny dots. That'll do for now. Maybe one more like that, just to sort of hope it sticks. And then we're just going to line this up in the corner here. Line this up like that. Like that. And now I'm going to put my lighthouse down next, so I can sort of anchor it between the two waves. Of course I used my silicone mat so I wouldn't get glue, and then went and got glue on my mat. Typical, isn't it? So I'm just going to put this here, something like that. And then we're going to put glue on the back of this wave. This is when Tombow is so good, but it has a fine tip. You can just do with it as you wish. I think that's enough. I really don't want to use too much. I'd rather it be less than more, then I can add more if I need to. Okay. Let's get rid of the silicone mat and show you what we've got so far, and you can see how it looks much better that the wave is embedded. So let's set that aside and do our sentiment quickly. I cut down the sentiment a little bit further, as you can see, and now we're going to mat it on a piece of scrap from the same Pacific Point paper that we had at the background. And it's a 6x6 piece that we used, and this is the bit that was left over, so we using up our scraps, which is always good. Yep. Glue everywhere. Oh well. We tried. And now I'm just going to cut this out using my scissors. Like that. Move that aside. And then I'm going to bring in these. These are these strips, and they are, normally we use these for shaker cards, they're foam strips, but I find they're actually really good for things like this because they're nice, give you really nice dimension, and it's one nice piece that you don't have to worry about. So I use them as well for my strips for sentiments and stuff as well. So just so you know. And then I'm going to put this the right way up, hopefully, somewhere up here in and amongst our birdies, like that. And then I've got here some of these lovely Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels. I'm going to use some of these here. We're just going to put these wherever the fancy takes. Not really overthinking it. I'm just putting things where I sort of espy. The minute you start to need to look and overthink, then you may as well stop, which is that point there. So there we have our 2 cards. What do you think? I hope you liked them. If you did, I'd be grateful if you could give it a thumbs up so YouTube know, and please do consider to subscribe to future videos. If you wanted more information about this project, supply list, measurements, etc., it's all on the blog post on my website, and the links to that and all my social media links, including the links to my Facebook group where I host a monthly online card club, and we do fortnightly challenges and all sorts of fun stuff. So do check all of that out. So thank you again, and until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye.